Hello my friends and welcome to a new science lesson. Today we are going to talk about matter. As you can see, today I am a mix between a scientist and a cook. Because to study what matter is and the properties, I am going to use real materials, real things that we can find in our kitchen. So get ready! But what is matter? Matter is everything around us that takes up space. For example, this apple is matter because I can see it and it takes space. This glass of water or this paper napkin are other examples of matter, but also little things like salt are also matter. Matter has three properties. The first one is mass, the second one is volume, and the third one is density. Now we are going to study each of them. Let's start with the first property of matter, that is mass. And what is mass? Mass is the amount of matter in an object. For example, a table has more mass than a pencil. And how do we measure it? We measure the mass in kilograms or grams. We are going to study mass with different objects and different things that we can find in our kitchen. For example, I have this pack of flour at home, and as you can see, it weighs 1 kilogram. Well, 1 kilogram when it was full, because now I already use it, so it doesn't weigh 1 kilogram. I also have this fish here, and as you can see, it weighs 111 grams. So how can we measure the mass? How can we weigh objects? We can use a scale like this one I have at home. Now I am going to use it to weigh an apple and a banana. I am going to take my apple, I am going to put it on the scale, and let's check how much it weighs. As you can see, it weighs 275 grams, more or less. Now, I am going to take the banana. Which one do you think is going to have more mass? Let's check it. I put the banana on the scale and let's check. It weighs less than 200 grams. So, the apple has more mass than the banana. The second property of matter is volume. Volume is the amount of space that an object occupies. The bigger the object is, the more volume it's going to have. For example, if we think about a basketball, it is going to have more volume than a tennis ball that is smaller. So we need to have in mind that the size affects the volume, okay? And how do we measure the volume? We measure the volume in cubic meters or centimeters, or we can also measure it in liters or milliliters. Now we are going to study volume, and we are going to have a look to different things that we can have in our kitchen. For example, this bottle of milk here has 1 liter, so its volume is 1 liter. Here I have some soap for my washing machine, and as you can see here, it says 1980 milliliters. So in two different objects, we have liters and milliliters to measure the volume, okay? And now we are going to see how we can measure the volume. We can use an object similar to this one, or if you are more professional, it can be a cylinder. And as you can see, the water is around 250 milliliters. It doesn't get to 300. So I am going to put a stone inside the water, and we are going to see that now the water is in 300 milliliters. So that means that the volume of that stone is 50 milliliters, because it's the difference between the water without the stone and the water with the stone. The third property of matter, and last one, is density. Density is the concentration of matter in a volume. And how can we calculate that? We need to divide the mass of an object by the volume of that same object. Now we are going to see how to calculate density. So the first thing we need to do is to take the object we want to measure and calculate the mass of that object. So we are going to see that this stone has around 50 grams. So we take a paper and we write 50 grams. Now we are going to calculate the volume of that same object. So we take our stone, we remember that the water in our measuring object it's around 250 milliliters. So we put the stone inside the water and we are going to see the difference. Now it's around 300. So the difference between 250 and 300 is 50. So the volume of the stone is 50 milliliters. And if we divide 50 grams by 50 milliliters, obviously we get 1. That is the density of the stone. And we are going to see how to put the grams and the milliliters. We put grams by, and here instead of putting milliliters, we are going to put cubic centimeters. Okay, so we put centimeters and number 3, that means cubic centimeters. 1 milliliter is the same than 1 cubic centimeter. So that's how we calculate density. The density of an object is what is going to tell us if the object sinks or floats in the water. So the density of water is 1. If the object has more or the same density than water, look what is going to happen. It doesn't float, it sinks, as you can see. And if the density is less than the density of water, like this yellow ball I have here, it is going to float. I really hope you like this class and you understand more or less all the different contents and properties of matter. And I would like to see you in our next science class. Bye bye, my friends!